Welcome very much to this session for the Scroll Node Founder Support Program. We are with Chibie0X today. It's a good time to have someone from PayCrest with us because I've heard about this company for a minute now. I remember I was in Zanzibar recently and Machuche was telling me about PayCrest, you know. And that's when Ochi and we decided to make sure Chibie will be here to talk to us so we can be able to learn from him and also see how we can engage and partner moving forward. So I'd like maybe to quickly introduce my team, let them rather introduce themselves briefly, and then we'll go ahead and the founders will introduce themselves as well. And then we'll hand it over to Chibie to introduce himself and PayCrest, and then to go ahead with this session. So I think we can start with Ochieng. Just briefly introduce yourself.
Yeah, so before I introduce myself, I'd encourage everyone to kindly just introduce your name, the name of the organization, and just a one-liner explaining what you're building, just a one-liner to be on time. So my name is Ochieng. I'm one of the founders at Web3 Clubs, a developer and founder community in East Africa.
I guess I can go next. My name is Roslyn Muniri, and I'm in charge of communications for the Kenya Scroll Node at Web3 Clubs. Yeah, nice to meet you.
Landy.
Hi, Chibie. This is Balandi Cecilia.
Hello.
Devrel with the Kenya Scroll Node. Yeah, nice to meet you again. I think we met at Magma, if you remember.
Wait, that's Cecilia. Are you kidding me? Good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
I knew that name was really familiar. The Mullah said, "Oh, who is this?"
Nice to meet you.
Go on.
Amazing. I think we can start with Collins.
Hello, hi guys. My name is Collins, a founder. I'm building a product called B-Pesa. So B-Pesa is basically a mobile money platform that allows sending money globally with just a phone number. Yeah, thank you.
So then we go to Chuchen.
Yeah, hey again, Chibie. Hey everyone. My name is David Machuche, based in Tanzania. We are building NetPay. It's an all-in-one stablecoin payments platform for payments, payment links, invoices, swaps, all the way to off-ramps.
Dennis Kimathi.
Yeah, Dennis Kimathi here. Many of you may know me as Chiza. I'm working on a project called Expendi, which ideally is supposed to help you manage your crypto finances more clearly. Yeah, that's Expendi for you.
So there's someone who's joined with the private key here. I know who it is. But if you're able to speak, just go ahead. All right. I think next we can go to Gideon.
Thank you very much. My name is Gideon from BlockUp. BlockUp is our solution, and we are solving for governance within the cooperatives space. Thank you.
Amazing. Then I think Tim.
Hi guys, my name is Tim. I'm the founder of Bondly, a platform that helps couples, friends, co-founders create smart commitments, both emotional and financial, backed by blockchain.
Awesome. Mr. Victor.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Victor Mwagachi here from Tanzania. Also part of the NetPay team. We're all-in-one stablecoin payment solution trying to help people and businesses grow and accept payments globally and instantly. So excited to learn from you guys, and yeah. And I didn't know Chiza's name was Dennis. That's been quite that's dope.
Chibie is here. I think I've met Chibie. Is it the Chibie I know?
Yeah, that's me there.
Oh
We
yeah.
met
Okay, go
last
on.
year during base around the world.
You see, I told you guys, Kenya is my second home. You can go on.
Awesome. So yeah, I think the ball is over to you, Chibie.
Alrighty.
Take it away.
Let's go. I'll start with introducing myself, and then we go on from there. I'm Chibie, Chibo to Amadi. That's my full name. Online, just call me Chibie. I'm the founder and co-founder and CEO of PayCrest. PayCrest is a decentralized payment routing protocol for instant and zero-fee payments. Basically helps businesses move stablecoin to fiat and fiat to stablecoin in seconds rather than days. In the past, before PayCrest, I've also co-founded a former startup, QnA network, that was into health. I trying to build an on-chain health care system that will bring together patients, doctors, and ecosystem stakeholders for healthcare. Yes, so that was a few years ago. I'd like to tell people I bought my first crypto in 2017, deployed my first smart contract later that same year in 2017, Ethereum. So I've been around for quite a bit. Before then, I usually just majorly freelance, do a lot of freelancing. In 2020, I got involved with Consensus. I was an engineer at Consensus in the Gitcoin team, did all that stuff and spun out with the Gitcoin team, and was a senior software engineer there for over like almost 3 years before decided to focusing on PayCrest. Yeah, so I'm excited to be here to speak to founders. I think it's really simple speaking to founders because, I mean, we're having similar experiences. I'm also a startup founder. PayCrest is basically just a little over 1 year. So it's, I'm excited to be here. The way I want to frame this session would just be to ask the right questions, to get to learn about what you guys are doing. I was sent a project brief, a document. So I kind of have an idea of what each company is about. I watched some of your demo videos, and it's quite exciting to see. I think there's something new I'm noticing happening in Kenya. I've started seeing some more payment startups. I remember we used to have these conversations in the past, but I've seen there's more startups in payments, and yeah, interesting use cases. Anytime I go to Kenya, I'm always amazed at the kind of products we get to see, because in Kenya, you'd see products around agriculture, around climate, like you guys use blockchain in a very, will I say, positive some way, in a kind of regenerative finance with a regen finance mindset. And I think that's really important because I think crypto should be for rebuilding society, for positive some outcomes, and not just enriching a few. So I think I like that about the nature of projects. So I'll just dive right in. If you have any questions at any time, please stop me. It's not a talk. It's not like a speech or a conference or a keynote speech. I just want to interact with you guys. Hope to answer questions. You can dive into my experience. And then, yeah, I hope this session will definitely be valuable. Yes, and so that's why we're here. So I would want to ask some questions. Do you have any questions for me if I dive right into some of the projects and questions?
Yeah, I just wanted to know, Chibie, where you based from?
Oh, Nigeria. These are Nigeria. Sometimes I'm at Ibadan, actually. Ibadan is like an hour, 30 minutes from Lagos. Yeah, so that's where I'm based in. But so sometimes I'm based in Kenya. Yeah, and it's now visa-free to Kenya, by the way. You don't need to have an e-visa or an ETA anymore from Nigeria. You just board a flight and you go there. So that's really good. Maybe I'll find a Kenyan second wife.
Yeah, man, you're very much welcome here. So I think something that caught my ear there was although maybe we'll ask this later, is you said zero fee.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I'd like to hear more about that as well as you get into your presentation and conversation.
All right. All right. At PayCrest, I don't want to make this a little much about PayCrest, just about the founders here, but PayCrest basically is zero fee. Yeah, actually zero fee. If you're integrating off-ramp and on-ramps, you want to off-ramp, you did an API platform or a smart contract protocol to like off-ramp stablecoin, USDT, USDC, even local stablecoins like CNGN to local currencies like Nigerian Naira, Kenyan shillings, Uganda, Tanzania. We're quickly expanding countries. That's where, yeah, so it's free, it's zero fee because you get best market rate because PayCrest, the way PayCrest is built as a payment routing protocol, we have our liquidity network. We allow providers provide liquidity in a trustless way. So you can basically bring your own liquidity and plug into PayCrest, deploy your node as a liquidity provider, and then have payment orders routed to your node, right? And so we don't charge the senders, businesses integrating. We basically charge liquidity providers a fee. So if you were to off-ramp 100 USDT, for example, and the market rate for that in Kenyan shillings would be around 12,800 Kenyan shillings, right? So if the provider pays out 12,800 Kenyan shillings, and the provider could get 99.5 USDT, right? And so PayCrest gets the 0.5 USDT on that. So what that allows us to do is make money off the provider network, and they still have competitive rates because we removed all the middlemen. You just connect senders to providers directly. Previously, you would have a lot of legacy or layers of abstraction. You integrate a provider that uses another provider that uses a bank. So with every layer comes extra fees and percentages, and the pricing isn't just great. So we said, you know what, let's just take out the pricing entirely from senders and made it zero fee. So every application building on PayCrest is maximizing their profits because they don't get to pay fees. And then we make money off the providers, and providers still make a lot of money because they can set their spreads and the likes. Yes.
Yeah, I know you're trying to not make this about PayCrest, but actually one of the reasons we really wanted to speak to you is because the founders here, there's some who are really looking to integrate into PayCrest.
Oh, really?
You'll get a number of questions around PayCrest. For example, what does it take to build a node, your own node, to launch it? If let's say you're launching your own stablecoin, what are the mechanisms around that and providing liquidity around that? So I know there's some guys with questions around some of those things, but for now, I think just
that would be dope. I can imagine the guys that want to do that stablecoin. Is it Block? Let me guess. Is it Block Coop? The stablecoin one.
Gideon, were you launching a stablecoin? Mostly I know Hillary Collins is launching a stablecoin. I know David at some point will launch a Tanzanian shilling stablecoin. Yeah.
All right, interesting. All right, so I think I'll start by saying, speaking to founders, I like to ask founders, I think the primary reason why anyone should build a startup is to make money, right? So just to cut to the chase, of course, your startup could be an extension of yourself or your values, your creativity. You could just be fulfilled because you want to do something cool. But I think it's really hard running a business. A startup is actually is like the cell of a business. When you say you have the human body, there's your hand, your leg, and then it's made up of cells, right? So a startup is like the cell when it comes to a big company, and every company was first a startup, right? So it's the most important thing as far as businesses are concerned. If you are thinking about the Apple you see today, the Microsoft, the Coca-Cola, whatever you see, they were once startups, right? They started from a cell and they grew up before you become a molecule, a tissue, and all that biological transformations to get to organs and systems, right? So it starts from a cell, and that's how I see startups. So it's so important that you know the role your startup is playing. Because some people just, I know your startup could have begun as a hackathon, it could have begun as maybe a child's play, you just wanted to do something cool. And then you did your startup, that's cool. You did a product, an MVP, let me not call it a startup. But when you're thinking about being a founder, then you're thinking about what is the business behind this? How am I going to make money? Right. So it's a simple reality, right? And then if you're thinking about building from Africa, then you have to ask not just how do I make money, how do I make a shit ton of money? Right? You need to figure out how you're playing with a whole new set of challenges, right? Because of limited previously we would say limited access to information, would say that, but now there's AI. So I don't think anyone has limited access to information anymore. If you wanted to be trained by Harvard in your house, you could. AI has all that. So, but like I figure that there's the whole you still need to think in Africa, you still have access to limited capital. I think that's the most important part, right? We have very stringent capital backing, and there's a lot of issues that play around that, but I don't want to dive into that. So in Africa, you're thinking about how can you run lean? How can you spend the least amount of money to make the most amount of money? So you're thinking a lot about your go-to-market is different from a lot of startups across the world. And then you still are required to compete globally, because then you have the blockchain, you're playing in an industry that allows for global expansion. Your customer base can really grow big. So one question I'd like founders to think about is, how would my product make me money? And how will I spend the least amount of money to have the best outcome, right? When I mean best outcome, most rewarding, the ROI, return on investment, right? On this little amounts going in. I remember building PayCrest the first year, because we kind of bootstrapped for like a year before we raised any money, or more than a year, I think. But it's just that we hadn't incorporated at the time. I remember but we kept record of every expense, like every single expense. I have an expense sheet where you have domain name purchase. I think that was the first expense. Domain name purchase. I have that, the dates, the amounts. And from that to incorporation to every single thing. So, and that was really helpful, even when we decided to raise family and friends round, because we'll get on a call, even from a VC, you get on the call and you share your screen and you're like, oh, this is how money has been spent. I'm like, yo, you kept this? I said, yes, we kept it. So, and this is over a year. You're having as simple as, I paid for a taxi to this event, is recorded with the receipts, the blockchain receipts, or the image of the physical receipt and everything, right? So that tells you, because you have less capital, it means capital efficiency is required from founders, from African founders. You begin to start thinking, someone in Silicon Valley could probably get a fundraise of maybe $500,000 for an idea without even building an MVP, right? $100,000. And then maybe in next 2 months, that money is exhausted and it's gone. But if you were to try that in Africa and you raise $500,000 and then in not even 2 months, let's say 5 months, you burn that without capital efficiency, I tell you, you will make the news, right? And you'll probably not get investment from any other person at the other time. You'd more like be blacklisted, you see? And so that's the reality. And so we need to think about that in building products. So when I'm going through your products, I want to have those thoughts around how you're thinking about money making. That's your potential revenue streams and why you're building this also, right? And also why your product has to be on-chain. Because in speaking with founders, I've also realized that some products, I think, I understand the hype around blockchain, but I think blockchain is not for every problem. You get me? So I like to think of the blockchain when you're solving problems that deal with human coordination as relates to trust, right? Primarily trust. So where you're having multiple parties and then you think there's going to be a problem of trust, that the blockchain works. If there's going to be economic relationships that require trust in a low trust environment, that makes sense. If you're talking about data integrity, which still has to do with, yes, I think that makes sense. So there are some projects like that don't necessarily, but there are some that may not be on-chain, but will still be great products. There are some that may be on-chain, but the on-chain aspect is just back-end detailed. Like it's just abstracted. You don't even know. Just like the way you pick up your phone and make a call, but you don't care how VoIP or whatever works. Some other time you just need some other products don't even need a blockchain at all. Like zero need, right? And it reduces your stress, right? By multiple X's. Yes, it reduces your stress. So yeah, so those are the things I want to find out. So I'll be asking questions around why. I want to learn about who your ideal customers are, how you're validating your products. And so it's more around business conversations. I don't know if that makes sense. Do you have any clarity you want to ask me on here before I go on? So I start asking some questions or I just go on. Should I go on? All right. Sorry, Victor, you said what?
No, I was saying it's clear. You can go on.
Okay, good. Yeah, so I'll look at product and around that. So when we're refining products, I'm refining products from the mindset of GTM. That's just it, right? And GTM is just another word for, bro, how you making money? That's just what it means. What's your plan? So I think the first product I went through was actually BPESA. And BPESA was quite interesting because when I looked through it, I was looking for crypto in it, but I didn't find crypto. Who built BPESA? Who's the founder of BPESA? Is the founder here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, Hillary, well done. I think you have a really nice product. It was just like, I was looking for crypto. I was looking for crypto blockchain, but then I said, oh, there's no blockchain. Interesting. It's like a neobank, right? And it's abstracting all the crypto stuff, even though you have wallets and the likes, but like your target market wouldn't be that. But I want to ask you, it's pretty obvious to me what it should be, but you can still speak to us. Who's your ideal customer? Like, who are you building this for?
Okay, so when coming up with the BPESA product, my target customer is ideally anyone who holds a smartphone and has access to internet, and anyone who needs cross-border transactions. And as you mentioned earlier, with the trust factor in it, then so handling cross-border transaction, multiple currencies, just allowing anyone who wants to send money, receive money in any currency, and also be able to convert that money into cash. That's why we have also the agentic infrastructure behind it. So basically, it's like a mobile money, normal Web2 mobile money platform. So anyone who requires to send and receive money, I'll add them as part of my target group.
Interesting. Okay, one other question I have. I think that's interesting. Mobile money, but we have established giants. Like anytime I'm in Kenya, I'm always amazed by how M-Pesa works, right?
Yeah.
And I like the fact that not just how it works, but the fact that M-Pesa is integrated with, like, you go to a village, a Kenyan village, and there's M-Pesa there. And I think even villages that don't have food, they have M-Pesa. I think so. Villages that don't have water would have M-Pesa. Like, it's quite interesting. Yeah, it's really everywhere. And a lot of Africa is also mobile money. Not Nigeria, but a lot of the wide extent of Africa is the mobile money, right? And so, but I want to ask, mobile money is well accepted, but I want to know, like, why would I use BPESA when I can just use mobile money from existing giants like Safaricom Again, I'm going to be asking founders a lot of questions just to allow you to figure out how you're thinking about your product. So I'm not the one talking, you're the one talking. I'm just mentoring and guiding. So I want to just know, why are you building? Like, when I go to Kenya, I don't even have Safari. I installed the app, M-Pesa app. There's an app, I remember. But without the app, it took me multiple visits before I learned that there was an app I needed to install, right? I just use my SIM card and just go to send money or Lipa na M-Pesa and just enjoy, right? Yeah, so I want to know, like, why do we need your app and not use M-Pesa mobile app, Safaricom, or use the default SIM card application they have? That's what I've experienced. Only M-Pesa. I haven't tried any other mobile money firsthand, so we can speak on that.
Okay, so why? Maybe I'll start with why M-Pesa is. Of course, they were the first movers in the market. Also, with that first movie, they were able to sort out users who are using feature phones. At that time, you can use USSD, you can use the SIM toolkit. So they're already in the market. So why use BPesa currently is, I'm thinking of BPesa as the next evolution of mobile money. Yeah. So currently with M-Pesa, the transaction fees are quite high. I was actually doing a comparison on, from agent withdrawals to deposit to sending peer-to-peer money transfer. So the transaction fee is high compared to actually every telco that I've interacted with that has mobile money. So BPesa then allows you to have like a near zero transaction fee because you're basically dealing with stable coins. Second thing is privacy. So currently there's a lot in the market about, the telcos being able to work with the government to pinpoint. So with the whole back of BPesa's blockchain, then everything is quite transparent. There's no hiding, there's no like pinpointing of a user where they are. We're just working with the wallet addresses. And from a user, as you saw, it's fully abstracted. So I think those are, and of course, from the currency perspective, with M-Pesa, if you want to do like an USD payment, in another country or for a product, you need to have like a global pay account, with the M-Pesa app. So what we're saying with BPesa, as long as you're in the platform with that unique, your own phone number, which is as normal as what we're used to, the 10 digits, you're able to receive any currency, convert to any currency easily, and be able to, withdraw cash. Yeah.
So BPesa is basically, you're taking M-Pesa and making it more user-friendly and global. And and correct me if I'm wrong. With BPesa, can I send money from Kenya to Ghana?
Yes.
Oh, perfecto. Then I think,
and the guy,
I noticed you have. Go on, Hilary said what?
Yeah, no problem. And the guy in Ghana, just to add, the guy in Ghana can get in whichever currency they're dealing with, and they can be able to withdraw, back to fiat using the agents that we have on ground. And anyone can be an agent.
So the currency that the person gets, is it stable coin or is it fiat? The guy, like, let's say I'm in Nigeria, or I'm in Kenya rather, and I want to send money to Victor, and Victor is in Ghana. If I send 300 Kenya shillings, does Victor get Ghana cedis or he gets USDC?
So as you're sending, you select which currency you want Victor to get. So if you have Kenya shillings, that's the only balance you have, and you want him to get the Nigerian, you just send. Then he receives in that currency. So we do like a whole cross swap behind the scene.
Oh, that's dope.
And they can be able to withdraw or use.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that makes sense. I think your product is quite simple and straightforward. Like, it's quite straightforward. And would you guys, if you guys think you would use the BPesa, just give a thumbs up. I mean, does this have emojis like Google Meet? I don't know if they have that. You'd use it. That's interesting. So you have your first, you have your first users here already. Because again, how many users do you have currently? How many users do you have?
So we are still in test, in the testnet. We are supposed to launch next week. So I'm rushing to retest the whole platform again. But even in test, we've been talking with a couple of businesses already willing to make, pay their employees using BPesa. So I think that's a motivation on my end. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. I think that that's what I like the fact you're thinking about the business from the first. I'm using him as an example. I hope you all are learning. I may not be able to go through everybody, but it's good that at least you've, number one, you have a clear picture of who you're building for. That's very important. When you have a product that works for everyone, it's probably not products are hardly for everyone. Not everyone has the problem. Not everyone uses mobile money, first of all. So you're very specific about that. It's you're prioritizing non-crypto native users, like a regular person to be able to use it. That's good. And then, but why do you have a wallet set up with phrases if you're prioritizing non-crypto users? Just a question,
actually, so I thought about it. So it's more of the standard of, you see, the way you have like a SIM card, you need to have like a PIN unlocking key, in case you forget your password. So that's how the phrases work. So currently what I've made a change is I'm not calling it phrases, I'm calling it a PUK, the PUK, the PIN unlocking key, because that's what we are used to. But ideally, and you have two options. You can either save directly to your Google Drive. So in case you lose your phone, lose your password, you can recover, or you can save to your local device, send it to your own WhatsApp. So it's more of just having that PUK so that people know, in case I lose my account, my PIN, I can be able to reset. So also thinking on how to phrase it, but something along that line.
No, we can have follow-up sessions with all of you. That's really good. Well done. So your goal would just be to get your first 1,000 users, yeah?
Yes.
So let's see how quickly you get that. So I think, does anyone have questions based on Hillary, based on BPesa? Because again, BPesa is all of us. All of us are BPesa. So just what questions do you have around that?
Yeah, Rose, go ahead.
Until you asked what's the reason I might not use BPesa. And that is Safaricom. I'm also able to buy my bundles or Wi-Fi. There's so many other services. I use strictly the transaction issue, because I think you might have a huge part of the market stuck on M-Pesa or Safaricom.
Because your question is that your main concern is because there are other things you use locally with M-Pesa, like bill payment, that you don't have there. Okay, go on. Hillary, you wanted to answer. Just keep it brief.
Okay. So just to answer that is, BPesa is a whole infrastructure. So we are starting with payments, but part of our model, we also have like deep in nodes where people can host like solar panels, small devices in their houses. And now this will enable us to transition from doing payments to people doing, peer-to-peer. It's called the phone calls via internet, because, we have nodes instead of having a whole.
No. Don't take me out there. Don't take me all through that. We just want to focus on what you have now. And I think what she's saying is she's saying she's not going to use BPesa now today because it doesn't have bill payments. So are you going to add bill payments or not?
Yes. So we are working with being able to pay businesses using the pay bill and the till numbers. So that will, once we do the first release, that's something we already in the pipeline. Part of our milestones, actually.
So that's Rosalind, are
you
patient enough? So Rosalind, are you patient enough for that? Rosalind, can you hear me? Rosalind.
I didn't get that.
Yeah, I'm asking, are you patient enough for that? He said that they have bill payments in the roadmap.
Yeah.
Of course,
we're very you don't for anything that replaces.
Exactly. You have to be patient because you don't have better payment systems in New York. I mean, you're in New York, right? And there are no better payment systems. You have ACH. ACH takes hours. I mean, Swift takes longer, like days. So you don't have options. You just have to wait for Hillary. I mean, Yeah, so that's fair. And what I like is that he said it's near zero fee, in the sense that M-Pesa is really expensive. Only Kenyans don't realize how expensive M-Pesa is. I don't know if you guys really know how expensive M-Pesa is. Like, I don't know if you know, but it's really expensive compared to like bank transfers in Nigeria. You know what I mean? So yeah, so I understand that. Even if that's your only competitive advantage, I think that's good. And going to founders here, do not be scared. Do not be scared. Oh, it says it's expensive in Tanzania. You see, you do not be scared of coming at a product that, even if you hear that a big company is doing this, your advantage you have as a startup is that a big company wouldn't do the things you would do. For example, you're chatting with me, you're chatting with Roslyn, you're closer to your customers. You can get quick feedback. You're closer to the people spending the money. You get by, so you can iterate really fast. And I don't think M-Pesa is thinking about that right now. They're not thinking about reducing their fees. They're thinking about how to make more money, right? So yeah, so that's your advantage. Well done. I'll just pick some other. Does anyone have any questions other than Roslyn? Any other questions around that?
Yeah, mine would be, so Roslyn would be a customer trying to pay to a business, right? So her friction or what she found difficult was, do I need to move away? And, but what about the business people now for their infrastructure they already have to receive payments through pay bills? Do they have now to get another pay bill, another account to manage, or can you use the M-Pesa pay bill as exists, or would it need to be a different thing altogether?
From what I understand, I think that the agents don't have to have a B-Pesa account. They can keep their accounts and you pay to them. Is that correct? Through B-Pesa.
No, for agents need to have download a mobile app specifically for agents. So for businesses is what they don't need a different account. So anyone can make their payments to the same accounts they have for Safaricom or Airtel, whichever they're using to receive money. But for agents, because the funds are still within the ecosystem, currently we want agents to be able to withdraw and get commissions from, because the commissions that we are giving agents is quite high compared to what Safaricom is getting. So being an agent can be literally your side business. So that's why we are keeping it still within the platform. Then now withdrawing to bank, M-Pesa, making payments. Now that is whatever systems are already there.
Yeah, and one way, if M-Pesa wants to come for you or take you off market, they'll probably send your Kenyan law enforcement at you, asking you about what licenses you have to operate. So that takes me to Miniland. That'll be the next startup I want to use as a case study. Miniland, who's the builder of Miniland? Is he here? Miniland, that's the name of the product, Miniland.
So Johnston is not with us today.
Oh,
he excused himself.
Come on. I really wanted to use that product.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what?
Reach out.
Is it what?
I can make him reach out to you after if you give him your time. Just
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. But which founder is building something that has to deal a lot with regulation?
We probably are.
NetAppy. Oh yeah, how did I forget NetAppy? I mean, you are, of course. Yes. So yeah, usually one issue startups or founders usually have is how I think Kenya is quite forward thinking when it comes to blockchain regulations. There's been some close parliament discussions around blockchain, right? And I think that's quite interesting. But if I was to ask NetAppy, if I'm going to ask Machuche, how are you thinking about like regulation? What's your plan?
Yeah, so as for us, like over here, the government has been pretty like progressive even with crypto, right? So they've recently announced like a fintech sandbox from the central bank. And we
Okay.
have existing relationships there because we're also building a local stablecoin for Tanzania. So we are gonna get into the sandbox soon, right? So that way they're gonna start seeing like, hey, this is how, let's say, stablecoins work. This is how, let's say, you can send money from Tanzania to China, to Dubai. Because at the moment, they are familiar with Yellow Card, and they are pretty much the most closest thing to regulated exchange here, and they advise the government, central bank, with what can go, what cannot go. Right. So like we're trying to show them like, hey, we have local guys here that actually understand these rails and understand how these things work. And this is how you can show them. And we're gonna show them like, hey, there's these guys in Kenya that's already doing that, which they're already familiar with, right? So we're hoping we could also be like a link there between like the virtual assets chamber and whatever they're trying to achieve here with the central bank in Tanzania, as well as working closely also with the CNGN guys. We're actually meeting them this weekend. We're going to have a closed meeting on Monday with UN and a couple regulators there. So for us, like we're trying to be as regulated as possible, right? Because like eventually we're going to get a license, and even from the sandbox, that's when they're going to figure out like which type of license we can have, because it's not going to be the regular PSP license or like e-money license, which the likes of Vodacom and M-Pesa have. So it might be like a VASP license. So these are the things that we'll pretty much figure out from the fintech side.
So are you planning to go to license on every country you unlock? Do you want to get a license in that country?
So we're looking at the best possible option there, right? Like ideally, because most of the users we want to target first are from Tanzania. So we want to lock in those users there who are actually looking to order from China, Dubai, right? And once we have a model here, then we can easily replicate that in countries like Kenya, let's say, where they already have an existing framework. But we're also looking to see what's the best way, if we can just get like potentially one license that can actually operate in all these areas, or we'll actually have to get an independent license every country we go to.
I think it's almost every country. It's sad, but let's see. What I was asking is like I'm really asking for Ken about that. Is there any founder that has that same problem? Because the way we solved it at PayCrest, we've not really solved it. I don't think any founder ever solves anything. But like the way we're approaching it at PayCrest is because we're doing a decentralized liquidity protocol, but then that's big grammar for regulators. How does money move? I think that's the most important thing. And we tell people money moves by taking you can create a payment order, the stablecoin, the provider pays out fiat, so we know we're doing third-party payouts. Because the person paying out the fiat isn't the sender, right? It's a third party. So you have to be sure this third-party payment. So is the third party, the provider license to carry out that transaction. So the way we were able to define PayCrest, or we've been able to think about that, is PayCrest is like a payment routing protocol, similar to Swift, like a financial messaging protocol, but we're not processing payments. We're just exchanging messages between senders and providers. Of course, how you dig deep into this has different nuances, but at least Swift has been able to operate for years, since the 90s, I think, without a financial license. And yet Swift facilitates billions upon billions of dollars, or they've probably done trillions of dollars, right? And they don't have a financial license. So we discovered that, and we're like, okay, so how are we building our product? Now it began making us think. That means we have to be sure that any message sent between sender and provider has to be properly encrypted. It has to be end-to-end, and it has to be in a way that an aggregator cannot look into the financial details, so you don't have any responsibility. And then you have to think about how the KYC would flow from the sender to the provider. You can't do that KYC and then decide who gets what. No, you're now involved in the transaction. So those are the ways where how you want to tell your regulatory story affects how we then are refining our products to be able to defend this. Do you understand what I mean? Because we don't want to, we're not going the route of the regulated country by country route, because that's one reason why a lot of payments companies, based on our view, the reason we are building PayCrest is so that if Machuche wants to go to another country, he doesn't need to be regulated again. he already has a network of regulated providers that he can work with. Yeah, so David, I think you're going through that business route, but you'd be solving a new set of problems, which would have to deal with regulations. And that's a different set of problems in Africa, like completely different sets. It's not even about your tech anymore. It's about speaking to regulators and the likes, right? And so you would have to be thinking about how you can bootstrap and tell your story and build in a way that allows you to depend on existing licenses, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And this goes for every other,
Mm.
Victor, go on, please.
Now, I was just gonna add a question on that,
Yes.
in terms of like clarity, because I think you described something very interesting about the routing part, you know, because
Yeah.
then what comes next is that what is being routed, what is this? And I think with stablecoins now we know this is an asset that can be that is of value. So I think with the regulator, one thing, because we're talking with one of the banks here in Tanzania as a hold of like a nominee for nominee services to hold like reserves for us. And then now one of the question is the regulation compliance is you ought to know the source of funds, right? So I think with so with blockchain and Web3 wallets, that's where a lot of the not a problem, but where the ethos of it changes, because decentralization, it's all about you don't need to know where I'm from, and then centralized system regulations, we need to know who is sending these funds and the source of those funds. So with routing and as us NidaPay is like, okay, we're facilitators, more like aggregators, but in the virtual environments and providing a routing directly to say mobile money or banks. Now, how do you regulate the assets and the hold of the assets by using us as a routing or as an aggregator service? So I think now.
Go on.
No. I think that's kind of like what I was gonna ask. What clarifies the asset for it to kind of like have validity when it's routed to the person receiving it? Because I'm a PSP provider, but my license does not allow me to hold crypto. But then what is crypto? Can we verify this asset? How do you tell that story to a regulator to kind of understand it? I'm curious how PayCrest did it, or are you thinking eventually you're going to evolve into dealing with those kind of problems, if not now?
I think that we are building out like a KYC platform, like a decentralized identity system, which will benefit a lot of projects, right? Because no one has really wanted to just build this because there's no money in identity business, right? It's usually by governments that make the most money there. But like we need it in PayCrest. We decided we need to build a decentralized KYC, but let me make it about NetherPay. I think that about the source of funds and where it's going to, you need to figure out you cannot do TradFi without KYC, right? The whole privacy thing where you don't need to know me. There's privacy and there's anonymity. I think there are two different things, right? Privacy is like, oh, you don't need to know only who I need to, come on, English, betray me. Only the parties that need to know me get to know me. Anonymity is saying nobody knows me. I'm unknown, right? You cannot do TradFi being unknown because you need the banking rates to do the last mile settlement. So someone needs to ask you, where is this fund coming from? Just as you said. So there has to be KYC information. There has to be limit checks. There has to be address verification, all that KYC information. But the problem isn't KYC verification. I think the real problem is how can you make this identity, these IDs verifiable on chain, and how can you make it reproducible? Because the KYC or KYB solutions I've seen is when you KYC your product. I don't know if anyone is building a solution around this though, but because I think lots of your products need this. But when you KYC, or let's say SumSub or Smile ID or anyone you use, your data could be encrypted and goes on chain, maybe using any decentralized KYC platform, and then it's verifiable on chain. But that doesn't end the story. The story is when a regulator discovers that this is a fraudulent transaction, for example, and they want to know who did it, you're not going to give the regulator a ZK proof. You see, you're not going to give the regulator a ZK proof or a public key to say, oh, decrypt this information. They need to actually have the data. So there has to be a way to recover the original data. There has to be a way to replicate it across the network. And I think that's the problem we're still figuring out and trying to solve. But for a start, anyone building a payments thing that interfaces with crypto and fiat, be sure where your money is coming from. You need to KYC that source, right? Even if you hold it in traditional databases, that's good, but you need to have that. And then that's what the PSP needs. So when you ask the question, Victor, where is this money coming from? You can show the PSP, this money is coming from this user, right? So that's what I think. Like, yeah, so if you go to, we built this application, no blocks XYZ. And on no blocks XYZ, you KYC. A lot of people have told us, no, why would I KYC for a Web3 product? I'm like, bro, take your money elsewhere. I'm still a young man. I don't intend to give it a large portion of my life staying in jail. You know what I mean? So, like KYC or take your money elsewhere. It's as simple as that. So I think that's one thing you need to think about. Go on, David.
Another question there on the compliance side, right? I would love to understand like how PayCrest maneuvered, right, in terms of regulation, because like even in Nigeria, it's a bit tricky there. Right, so I understand you guys work with different PSPs in different countries, right? So let's say in Kenya, you might have PSPs that have a license there, so it's easier. But in terms of PayCrest as an organization, are you guys registered in Nigeria? Like, do you have the licenses there? How did they work when engaging with the central bank and things like that? I think that would be.
We're a software company registered in Delaware. We're still learning about this whole thing. We're a US company, the Delaware, and we're a software company. That's how we describe ourselves, a blockchain software solutions company. As relates to the PSPs we work with, yes, as you said, our provisional software is simply a PSP aggregator that has a lot of PSPs, but that's not the real problem. I think the real problem with PayCrest is the providers, is where the local currency is coming from, right? It's not really the PSPs, because the PSPs are just doing payouts, and you create an account with them. The provider creates an account with them, yes. The provider needs to be compliant with them, good. But then, yeah, okay, it's the same, similar. So the providers, who are they? Like, are they licensed to do that? The way I think about technology and regulation is this. We don't wait, and this is all founders, yeah. We do not wait for, how do I say this? We do not wait for perfect regulatory climates to build, if you know what I mean, and to launch what you're doing. Like in Nigeria or some other countries, could you be arrested? I don't know. Maybe you just give like, it's part of feasibility studies. You need to check if you can stay in jail for like 3 months. That's part of feasibility studies.
That's
right?
not a visibility study, bro. Not in Africa.
but jokes apart, I think that when Bitcoin started, right, there wasn't a regulatory framework for it, right? But then people built Bitcoin. You get what I'm saying? And then regulations. Today we have a Bitcoin ETF. Does that make sense? When Ethereum started, there wasn't a regulation. Now we have an Ethereum ETF. We have Ethereum ETFs. When stablecoins started, people thought this would be shit, that you need to depeg to do this. But right now, we have the Genius Act in the US, Genius and OBBBA Act. Please, founders, keep in touch. You need a lawyer. Even if you don't have a lawyer, you can pay. Just have a friend that you just get to disturb every now and then. Please check this for me. Check this. I mean, if you're in blockchain. Yeah, but yeah, so are there lapses in the core regulatory framework? Yes, and that's because of the understanding. Government is still trying to understand, but you cannot wait for understanding of the regulations to actually build a startup. But where you need to keep learning, you need to keep understanding the dynamics, just as kudos to David and Victor that have already started speaking to regulators. You've started, like, you have that relationship of some sort. That's good. You have to do that, but you have to keep building, experiments. You need to keep doing stuff. But the primary thing when it comes to moving money, where is the money coming from? Where is the money going? So if there's any fraud case, you can help the law enforcement get the first start. It's as simple as that, right? That's the basic. That's the basic. So I think if you address that, every other thing is a matter of getting your VASP licenses and the like. I know you vastly asked about PayCrest, and I know I've not really answered that, but yeah, it's a journey for us, right? We have providers that are licensed in their countries. We're working with, I think in Kenya, there's I don't know the license situation, but I know they have licenses in some countries. But your guy, what's his name, David Nandwa Honeycoin, he's one of the providers for Kenya and Tanzania and Uganda, right? So yeah, so I think he handles the business good, and that's good. But that's not my problem. They handle that. So I think the way PayCrest has done it is to bring the responsibility on the people that need to deal with that business. You get what I'm saying? You cannot run away from that NetApp unless you have to climb on the backs of, maybe you just use PayCrest and you bring that problem to us, then we bring the problems to the regulated entities that need to deal with that. Yeah. So I think that's how we're handling it. We don't want to take responsibility for that. We just want to take responsibility for software credibility, encryption, using primitives that work, and then see how the space evolves, right? At least you need to have a strong argument. Uniswap was completely decentralized, but they were still sanctioned. I think they had a legal case this year or last year. They won, but at least how do you go for Uniswap? Like, everybody thinks that this is a complete DEX. I mean, so you never have it all figured out. Yeah, but just keep building, because the more, and get your customers right, loyal people, because the more people you have using your product, and the more money, the more volume or value it has created for society, I think the more regulators care about working with you in an empathetic way, or you get what I'm saying? The more empathetic, you have a seat at the table. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like Yellow Card is doing in Tanzania. Yeah. It's actually past 3 p.m. But I want to just be sure that founders, if you want to, we can stop. You can stay longer as you want, but you just let me know. I just wanted to do that check-in first before we go on.
Yeah, I think
we have so many questions for you.
Good. Yeah, still have more
when is
questions.
the on-ramp? Sorry, go ahead.
No, Victor, go ahead. Just
What is the
confirming
what?
time is
I thought he was trying to sign off, but I was gonna say, when is the on-ramp coming on PayCrest?
No, I'm here. I'm not signing off. I'm here for you. The on-ramp,
Okay.
not to bore any other person, to tell you the truth, because I know Hillary, B-Person needs on-ramp. Like, his product basically depends on and off-ramp working together, not one working first. Yeah, for what I understand. On-ramp will come. We'll be done building it internally this month. Before this call, I was on a call with my engineers. We're basically working on the on-ramp. So then by this month, it will be ready internally, and then next month we'll plan to roll that out with our general availability. So PayCrest still in pilot, still in beta, but by next month we'll roll that out, and you'll be basically doing P2P on-ramp and off-ramp, so automated. Yeah, so on-ramp, can you give us next month? I think next month.
Awesome. And also, local partnerships for providers will be a good framework to have. Dedicated dashboards where I can bring providers. Say if you're working with fintechs, if they want to bring providers on their ecosystem that can provide liquidity, a dedicated dashboard for them, powered by PayCrest. Same way you have APIs that can be used internally. I think that could be something cool as well. Because as a routing service, that could be something you can experiment
for providers with. No, I thought we have providers. Like, we have a dashboard for providers. Have you not seen that?
Yeah, but I'm saying, say for example, NetApp wants to onboard their own providers inside their ecosystem that use PayCrest to provide.
Oh, to provide liquidity for NetApp.
Yeah. For example, if I want to do it.
You're frozen, I think. I don't know if David understood what he was asking, but for what I get, he's saying, like, you want providers that want to provide liquidity for NetApp specifically, correct?
Exactly. I think that's what he's asking.
Yeah, I think you can do that today. Your providers just need to onboard as PayCrest providers, and then they give NetherPay, the provider ID, and you can make transactions directly to that provision node. So you can do that today.
Yeah, I think his question is more on the user experience, right? Rather than taking them to PayCrest and then NetherPay, rather than just doing it.
You'd have to build that at NetherPay. You'd have to build that. Maybe in the future we'll build something like that. But again, we started PayCrest just to build a protocol, the core infra, but there's a lot of businesses that can be built on top of that. I saw someone doing stuff around, there's a product, I wish I could go around all products. There was one doing really interesting stuff around SACCOs, right? Like, I don't know if that founder is here, but about that block hoop, right? About SACCOs, you can go there, create your own cooperative, your savings union, and people can save, you get your fees off that, you do like market making and all those kind of things. Yeah, so there are a lot of products you can build on top of that is on the app layer. But I think the problem we're trying to solve is the problem that we don't want you guys to solve, which is the whole regulatory hurdle, the telling better stories using cryptography. And I think that's the major blocker. So you can innovate financial solutions without thinking, how do I, because you know how much to get a license most times. Sometimes you just think about licenses, but you don't think about the capital you need. And we started this conversation talking about lean capital, right? Lean money, no much money. Yeah. A lot of projects depend on grants. So getting a license is not what you start out with, right? But so we're trying to solve that problem because we've created a model for those with the money to incentivize them to be on our platform. Yeah. So you have a better chance working with PayCrest and leveraging Honeycoin than, let's say, creating a Honeycoin account. You need more money to do that. You see what I'm saying? So they have different use cases. That's what I'm trying to say. So imagine we are able to make this microtransaction and you can work with Visa, for example, at zero fee. That's going to be big because we've created an incentive model for Visa that allows us leverage that license.
We're going to be working closely with the bank here, right? And most likely onboard them as liquidity providers as well. So I think that's why he was asking that as well.
That would be amazing. Yeah, you can get them. And the banks can be, you want the banks to be on NetherPay, not PayCrest. You can build a dashboard. I can guide you on the basics, every single bit of that. We have is a protocol, so you can build a dashboard. I want to hear some more. Expendi guys. I know there's a group I'm in with Expendi. And I'm on a group with Expendi, but I'm trying to figure out.
I'm here, man.
Oh, that's Chisa. We're saying, okay, I was supposed to be at your lab, but for some reason, it didn't work out that day. Yeah, so, yeah, but yeah. Let me ask. Web3 Clubs, I don't know your name. The guy whose name is Web3 Clubs. What's your name?
She's Matu.
Okay.
Matu.
Matu, okay, Matu, yeah. So can I take Expendi or no? If we can pass. What do you think?
Yes, please do.
All right. So Expendi. Wait, I'm sorry, is Expendi doing payments? Expendi is still doing NFC. No, I won't take Expendi. No, I'm sorry, man. But I won't take your product. I want to use someone not doing payments. Let me look at Carbon-Seq. Looks quite interesting.
Yeah,
Carbon-Seq is about it. Why are the guys doing? They're not here?
Yeah, then we need to find them. We'll be now giving them a fine.
Yeah, you should find them, bro. Okay. Let me ask. Don't tell me these guys aren't here. Bondly guys, are they here?
Bondly.
Who's building Bondly?
I'm here.
You're building Bondly, right?
Yeah.
Bondly, for some reason, it reminds me of. Have you heard about this product? What's it called? There's this. Okay, that may be more of the other guys. Block Hoop, but what's the name? They're about? Boy. The founder, one of the founders, the builder is Mohammed. I don't know, Cecilia, can you remind me? It's something grassroots economics in Kenya.
I've never had of it.
Yeah, that's
real,
right?
Yeah. Grassroots economics.
Yeah, I think that's
No.
real, the white guy.
Okay. Yeah, but there's a guy that works with Saint Mohammed in Kenya. But okay, maybe we can let that. So, do you want to tell me a little bit about bond? I know you spoke about that, like practically helps you create smart commitments, right? So, do you know about what products are you modeling after? Do you have a product that inspired you to build this, like, or like your competitors in that sense? If you know what I mean, just two names or one name or.
It's mostly a hybrid, so it's not actually like there's a competitors, if I can say, because there's this product Collins told me about. I keep on forgetting the name. Collins, maybe if you are around. Hello, Collins.
Okay, go on.
Which product?
The product you told me, Bondly, is almost similar to Bondly.
Oh, Chums.
Yeah, Chums. But it's more of like Notion meets what do you call it? Vault. Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Yes,
you, but my question I'm asking, let me ask you one question. Is Bondly a savings app?
Yeah, more or less like a kind of there's a feature where you can save, but you can also like distribute the income. So you can also use it like you see, for example, like Chama. Guys can come and create like a Chama inside a bond for Chama, which automatically sends money to whoever it's supposed to send on that day. But you can also like create an agreement. So for example, if someone doesn't pay for this month, if he should be fined or not. So the agreement is like you guys create it on your own.
But hold on, but it's not about lovers, right? Is it?
Sorry,
can you hear me?
I think
yeah, your internet is breaking up. The question I'm trying to ask is the outlook of Bondly looks like the outlook of Bondly feels like I'm creating a dating app in the sense of like relationship. The framing, the story has to do with like. So I'm kind of finding it difficult digging deep on like what is the core of course storytelling is there. Yeah.
Yeah, so the reason why I created it, the initial intention was because of love and holding like couples, people accountable. You get. Then I also realized apart from love, every relationship is a bond. So I actually created, there's a feature there called, like, it's a compatibility test. So for example, me and you can be friends, really good friends, but we're bad business partners. We are not compatible enough to be business partners. So we can create a bond and play the test, and then it gives us a compatibility in terms of percentage before we start the business. But if we decide to go ahead and like continue the business we're trying to create, and we create milestones, right? So if we hit every milestone, our compatibility grows. Bondly shows you how it grows. So it's more or less kind of.
I get you. So it manages business relationships. So if I had an employee, like say a freelancer working building my product, that's a relationship. I can create a commitment to say this guy is supposed to deliver this application in 4 months. I don't know if I can trust him, but I don't want my money to be lost. And then it gives me a sort of Upwork kind of escrow thing where based on milestones, money is unlocked, right?
Yeah.
And then if I conclude that relationship blossoms, but does that give him credibility on Bondly for other relationships he has apart from with me?
That's I didn't think of that. Maybe I'll include that feature later. But maybe the reason I didn't put that because different relationships, people like the relationship I have with you is not the relationship I have with, for example, let's say if I had a girlfriend, because you might be like, oh, Tim is like a really good friend and whatever, but she's like, Tim is toxic in a certain way. So
Ah, come on. If she says you're toxic, bro.
No. Okay, let me give you an example. I can be like the sweetest person where I'm employed, right? But then,
Yeah.
I usually like hit my wife. You get?
Oh, I feel you. But then,
So
if go on, Tim.
okay, but then.
Yeah, so then I'm saying, so if
I don't know why
you're
people are
excellent.
laughing.
No, they're laughing because they like it. No, listen, it's an
Listen.
interesting idea. It's an interesting idea, right? The reason why I could be excellent at work as a software engineer, but then I beat my wife at home, right? If I beat my wife and I'm a very terrible dad, it doesn't make me a shitty software engineer. Those relationships, and that's what it's trying to explain, that those relationships are different. I could be the best engineer, and so of course, if my employer finds out that I beat my wife, depends on the company policies, I could lose my job. But some bosses wouldn't give a shit about that. They won't care. They would just be like, yo, bro, you're building my code, do it, but don't tell me about your family. I don't want to know. Anybody comes to arrest you, you go to jail. But while you're alive and a free man, build my app, right? So that could happen. But I think that if I'm on Bondi, my relationship with my wife, if I have a financial relationship where I don't pay my child's school fees, that's where it makes sense. Let's say I'm a baby daddy and I have a relationship with my baby mama where I'm meant to pay child support. Now we can create a bond for that. Oh, women will love this for this. Baby mamas will like this, and the baby daddies. Then you can create a bond for child.
I want to use it for relationships.
You say what?
I was telling Tim I want to use this for my relationship.
Yes. So you can do that, and you have a trust. How many relationships do you have, man? For your relationships?
No, one.
I mean, bro. Okay, just one. Okay, okay. I thought you're counting relationship with your one new relationship. But basically, if you create a bond with what I was trying to explain was you have a bond with your baby mama as a baby daddy. That bond is for child support. As an employee, as a freelancer, I have to deliver a contract. Yeah. Right. I have to deliver a contract and build an app. Right. Yeah. Now, if someone wants to hire me for an app, and this guy is defaulting on his child support, oh man, that's not related actually. I see. So that means what you can do is to group relationships, examine them, and kind of judge employment relationships based on my past employment bonds. And then let's say my child support based on if I'm going to have a new baby mama, she can see my child support history. I'm like, bro, if I have a child with you, you're not going to pay child support, so I'm out. Cop out. You know what I mean? So that's an option. Yeah, so I think it has to be groups intelligent. But now go on.
Yeah, but now on that's why you do the compatibility test.
Yeah.
Well, so you open the bond and then so it will let you know from the test how compatible you guys are.
But people like to brag. I think of course it's your app, but I think that one use case is just about increasing the market. How do I say it? In pitch decks we'll say your total addressable market and all that kind of thing. Because we're in a social driven environment these days where everyone wants social credibility, even for loans. I don't know if Miniland works like that, but they're not here. But I know some persons are building. Do you know is it Hacker? No, not Hacker. Do you know Jessica? There's Jessica. Cecilia may know her, I don't know. She was in Magma. Haraka, thank you. Haraka. Yes. So Haraka is trying to say, okay, people don't have money to like get loans. They don't have the credibility. They don't have collaterals, right? So how about, but I have good relationships. I have friends that trust me. I have people that can say this guy is loyal. I have girlfriends that can say this guy has been in this relationship for 6 years and he has never cheated on me, even though he has not gotten married to me. At least he hasn't cheated for 7 years. That's good word, right? You have a wife that says, oh, I've been the only wife for like 15 years. This guy has been a good father. He's complete. So what if I was to get a loan based on my social credibility? You get, so that just shows the interest of how social credit is. So I would want, if I'm on Bondly, sometimes, even if it's just for a bragging right, I want to show people or be able to show people a part of my life. For example, if I'm trying to, like, I will always tie it to my history, my experience. While pitching PayCrest initially in our family and friends round, and I'm talking with an investor, and I'm like, hey, bro, I need to invest in. And they're asking me, why do you need to invest? I'm like, I've been on this for the past 7 months without pay, and I have a family. And so if anybody needs this to work, I don't think you're the one. I think I need it to work more than you, right? You're giving me maybe $10K, $20,000, but like I'm putting my life on this thing. Like, I need to feed real people, right? I need to pay school fees, and it's not baby mama kind of school fees. Like, it's really a white level support. You know what I'm saying? So I put my life on that. That's what I'm telling you. I'll tell investors, I say, see, I'm doing this. I'm all in. I'm a world-class software engineer. I could get a job, but I've been out of job for like 2 years now because I'm building this. And the person, do you know that simple statement is credibility for this person to give me money? I mean, at that round, this is not a VC now. If you tell VCs that, just get out of the room. But at least, I mean, at that level, it was enough backdoor. So I think that if I had a Bondly profile and I want to, in a pitch, I want to flex around one aspect of my life that I think would give me credibility, I could use that. It's just my financial relationships. Yeah.
First version had like a place where you can share, or you can share directly on, you can share to like your social media to brag and be like, oh, tomorrow we are doing this or this and this. But then I actually, on this version, maybe I'll add it later on, but for now, for the test part, I wanted to actually be first like onboard people and actually see how or what
get feedback.
Yeah, what feature would people use the most? That's when I know, okay, so this is what it actually does.
This is a key takeaway from what Tim just said. Tim said he wants to build, have people get back to him. Now, I want to just tell that to everybody. That is, give me a moment. All right. So I just want to tell that to everybody. I know we're talking about go-to-market, but your go-to-market, of course, from what you've been learning, you'd see that it has to be the least expensive route. It has to be the one with the least capital, with the most outcome, the least way to go. That's how the conversation has been going. But Tim raises an important factor, which I haven't touched on, but it's just about speaking to your customers. If you're building an app, don't just think, I know, especially when you're a technical founder, you can easily get into your echo chamber. That's where a business co-founder could help, but you can get into that echo chamber where you just love your code. And I think these days with AI is teaching us not to care about code so much, because a lot of these applications we build, I can just vibe code them today. You know what I'm saying? And I hope you're all vibe coding. I hope you're not wasting time like actually writing every line. And there was a time we used to brag on how many lines of code. I wrote over 1,000 lines of code on that project. But now your 1,000 line of code is just one prompt. Sad, but that's what it is. So your advantage would then be understanding your customers' problems, speaking to your customers, going back and forth with them, and getting feedback, and let that drive what you're building. People ask, there's this book I want to recommend to you all. Oh boy, it's not here. I can just write it if you read books. I don't know if you've read this book. Let me drop the name of the book. Rework. Is it Rework? I think it's Rework. Let me see. Yeah, it's Rework. It's Rework. Has anyone read that book?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you haven't read it? Yeah, you can look for that book. The title is Rework. It just will help you as a founder to focus on what matters the most. Right. I don't know if it can be confusing what the book is about, but I think I'm going to get this is the Rework I'm speaking about, the one by this one. Let me drop the title. Yeah, this is the one I'm talking. The Jason, Henema, Hansen, and David. That's the rework I'm referring to. Jason Fried. Yes, it's basically there's something you learn there to tell you if a lot of people have been complaining about something, don't bother building it, right? Especially when it comes to post MVP. When you build what you want to build, everything around that has to be based on people complaining. For example, if in PayCrest, if I had a lot of people complain about on-ramp, people have asked me about on-ramp since last year, right? And the first 2 months, I didn't give a shit. Like 4 months, I don't care. I'm building what I'm building. So if it becomes a problem enough, we'll build it. At least at that point, when you build it, people would basically use it. You get what I'm saying? So you're not just building because again, we don't have capital that much. You get what I'm saying? So you don't have the luxury of a lot of experimentation. So you have to listen to your customers, talk to your customers. We tried, especially, I like the idea of a pilot program, run a pilot program for your business, stay with your customers on a WhatsApp group or any medium you decide, have weekly check-ins if you can. Just know, those are the things we try to do at PayCrest. At least, even though we've had a lot of issues as we keep improving reliability, but when we started last year, we had a lot of issues as related to reliability, which even sometimes we still have some. But one thing is that even though that happens, we can still, we have groups, we get to talk. You talk to me, I talk to you, you can call me, we can interact, right? And then they know that, oh, this company isn't firing me. That's the advantage you have. The reason, if I ask developers here, the reason why you wouldn't use a product that is built by one big company like by Amazon and the like is because when you're stuck in your app and you need a solution for that problem, you're going to create a ticket that will take 2 days to get a response, to get one response. And when you reply that, it's going to take the next 3 days for another response. So a particular bug could take 2 weeks. Developers, are you here?
No.
Again, it can take 3 weeks for your ticket to be resolved. But you want the startup where if your bug is, if your issue, there's a problem, you can just message the team on a group or a Slack connect. How can this work? Yeah. And they're ready to get on a call with you to fix that. That's what a startup needs. You need startup energy to match your startup. And that's where you have the advantage to win. And I think we've had a good run. Do you have general questions? Yeah. First of all, generally, I'm excited about what you guys are building. The quality of the products here are really quality, right? Shout out to Quest. I really wanted to see Carbon Seek because it's a unique approach talking about the whole climate action. And I think I wanted to see that. Even Miniland, but it is good. The products I've spoken to, that's good. Paylinks. Shout out to Paylinks. Paylinks, are they here or not?
Yeah, Paylinks had
we wouldn't dive in.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. I don't need to feel bad with that. We didn't talk to them, but that's good. So Paylinks had the exam, but Paylinks is also quite interesting. They're using payments just email. A lot of these products are trying to abstract the whole complexity, right? So I think we've pretty gone through those available here. I didn't think we'll go through everyone, but surprisingly we did. So that's good. Yeah. So generally, these are good products, right? Think about your money. Be financially prudent. Part of your go-to-market is also how you handle your finance. How much you need to know about balance sheets. You need to know about like profit and loss account. You don't need to, I mean, just basic business stuff. You're running a business. That's what I'm saying. Your product, you need to build a business out of it. Yeah. So if you can think about that, you're going to win. And leveraging the ecosystems we're in, I think this is Scroll. This particular cohort is for Scroll. And so, yeah, Scroll already gives that inherent security, and Scroll is quite a new chain, as it were. So there's a lot of network effect that's still not tapped into that you can really scale with. Yeah, so I think that's good. I've met the Scroll founder. I think when she came to Nigeria, what's her name? Sandy. Was it Sandy? Was it Sandy Peg?
Sandy. Yeah,
Sandy Peg, yes. Yeah, and then I've also met the other guy, Yin or something, the Chinese co-founder. Yeah, that was 2 years ago when he came to Lagos. Yeah, so great people. Yeah, great people. They're really, really technical, yeah. So yeah, so that's good. Do you have any general questions for me, Web3 Clubs? Matsu,
Yeah, mine is
and the rest of
to
the
ask,
guys.
because some of these guys are building on the stable coins on Scroll, and they want to provide liquidity and launch nodes there, even for proof of concept. I don't know when PayCrest will have plugged into Scroll. How soon do you see that happening?
Interestingly, we already have our contract deployed on Scroll. We did that last year, right?
Mm.
The only thing is that we haven't activated Scroll on our aggregator, right? But one thing we'd need is Scroll on Binance. Is Scroll on Binance?
Yes.
Scroll network. Is on Binance?
Yeah.
Be on
Oh,
Binance.
nice. Oh, nice. And Scroll has a DEX, like a good yeah. So if they have that, then I think we can activate Scroll. I'm actually in touch with No Block Scroll on the No Block side. We're in communications with the Scroll. I think Devil Ecosystem something, and we've been talking. We had a call like last month, I think. So yeah, we'll activate Scroll. So how soon do you guys need that? When is this cohort going to round up?
It's running up end of September. End of September is demo day. So
perfecto.
Yeah.
We can have Scroll. We can have Scroll this month for you guys, just
Awesome.
for Web3 clubs. Just for Web3 clubs. We can activate Scroll. Yeah, we can activate Scroll.
Amazing, bro.
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
If anything comes out of this, at least we have this, PayCrest on Scroll.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say thank you very much, Chibie. It's been amazing. The alpha is overflowing. Next time when we're talking, the stories and narratives will be much more clearer for some of the startups here, because we have mentors also to help with pitching and, just with narrative. So thank you for joining us at this very early stage of our journey. And we're excited to, plug into PayCrest. I know a number of people here are very, very interested with stablecoins, local stablecoins. Chuche and the NedApay team are big on that. I was in Tanzania recently, and with M-Pesa, I was unable to move money really. So I had to bank on NedApay. So we were using NedApay a lot there for Zanzalu pop-up city, and it was smooth. So I've used your product. It's come through for me and friends of mine. So looking forward to more startups integrating to PayCrest.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think you've left a question. Let me know local stablecoins.
Yeah. If you need local stablecoins, you need anyone, because we have CNGN support. But if you have other ones, other non-USD stablecoins you want us to support, please let me know. We can speak. You can make an introduction to the team.
Amazing. So Collins, Chuche is already in contact with you. I think Collins will reach out to you as well, Hilary, and the Block Up guys will also reach out to you as well directly.
Let me drop my Twitter, and also my Telegram is Chibie. Is this Chibie0X? What's my Telegram? Yeah, Chibie0X. You can chat me, and then let's do stuff together. Let's build.
Let's build. Awesome. This is a good place to end it. All the best, Chibie, with your business, and much success your way. Also to everyone here, we are very thankful for your time.
Thank you. Peace.
Awesome. Peace.
Thanks a lot, Chibie.
Thank you, guys. Great session.
Amazing session. Amazing.